So we're going to be creating our shades and tints example sheet that you're going to be working on in kind of your class warm-up. So the first thing I'm going to do is lay down my ruler, and I want 12 inches. So you can see me going through, finding the 12 and lining it up. I don't want it right up against the edge of the paper. I don't want it right at the top of the paper. And I'm just going to mark down 12 inches. Then I'm going to go ahead and cross the top because I only want 1 inch and the top of our ruler is 1 inch. And then I'm going to go to the other side and same thing, just double check and bring it down all the way to 12. And then just go ahead and connect the bottom. So then the next thing I'm going to do is mark every 2 inches because that's what we're going to be using for this little warm-up. So every 2 inches I'm going to put a little dot right next to it onto the edge of this kind of table we are making. And then I'm going to go to the other side and repeat. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to connect those 2 little dots we just made, just like that, all the way up. I should end up with, I believe, 6 boxes total. And please be sure to take your time on this part. The more time we take to set ourselves up, the better this warm-up is going to go for us. And making sure I have all 6, just like that. Now you'll see I made it off to the side, and that's because I'm actually going to go ahead and make a second one. Remember, we're doing both the tints and the shades. So for my example, I'm going to be using blue. I'm going to start with the shades first, which is going to be adding our white. And the first thing we're going to do actually for both the tints and the shades is fill in that first box just solid, whatever color we're choosing. Again, you can choose any of the colors on the color wheel except for those tertiary colors. So you can choose primary or secondary colors. And I'm going to start just like that. Now I'm going to start with the shades, and that means we're going to add white. The important thing to know when you're working with white is that you're going to start from light to dark. It's always easier to go from light to dark, and that's the same with tints and shades. So I'm going to go down to the bottom, and on my one side I'm going to go ahead with the white, and I'm just going to fill in that box. You can add a little bit of a tint to it if you would like right away, but I'm just going to go ahead and fill it in completely white. Now the next step, and what I'm going to do next, is slowly work my way up to that first blue that I made. So I'm going to grab some of this white. Remember, I'm going to be adding my darker color to my lighter color. So I'm going to grab my blue just a little bit. Start with just a little bit. It's easy to overdo it. And I'm going to slowly start mixing it in until I get a nice tinted white. Now, I only give you 4 boxes. That's not a lot of time for transition, so I should be able to see a visible difference between all 4 of those in-between colors. Again, just continue adding blue until I get a nice tinted or shade of this blue. So I'm happy with this one, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to carefully fill that box in. And now I'm just going to repeat the process as I slowly make my way up to that original blue color. Remember, you're only given 4 boxes, so there should be a pretty visible difference in between each one. And remember, I'm not adding that white to the blue because that's going to be way too difficult, right? We want to take the blue or your regular color, whatever color you choose, and add that into the white. So I'm happy with this one, and I'm going to go ahead and fill it in. Now I'm just continuing the same process, adding more and more until I make it all the way up to that original blue. Now we finished the one side. Now we're going to be working with adding black to our first color, right? From here I worked my way up. I'm going to do the complete opposite on the other one. I'm going to work my way down to the black. Remember, we're adding that darker color to the lighter one. So I'm going to take some blue, set it aside, and I'm just going to test it out. So I'm going to start with just a little bit of black. I'm going to mix it in, and you'll notice how quickly it goes dark. Right? And I noticed right away it's way too dark. All right, so I'm going to take this dark color and I'm going to mix it into my blue. And then I'm going to go ahead and lay it down. On the video, I'm sure they look super similar, but I'll show you in class what they actually look like. Same thing that we did on the other side, just this time I'm working my way down instead of up. And I went ahead and sped it up. Again, it's hard to see the change. You can definitely see it in person. But on that last final box, I'm just going to use my black and fill that in completely. And that'll be the end of your warm-up.